So instead of arguing out loud, when he snores or does something annoying, I just roll over, hold a finger gun to his neck, and he says, please don't do it.
Maddie and Esther, who would have guessed their underage grandparents?
We are going to theme up this episode of Underage Grandparents. One of our biggest videos that has gone viral is our Unhinged tips to stay married.
Yes.
Now, if you missed it, the clip that went viral was this one. Unhinged tips to stay married. We have an imaginary maid named Patrick. We blame things on him when either of us get irritated. So if my husband or myself forgets to turn off the light, leaves their socks out on the floor, etc., one of us says, oh, bloody hell, looks like Patrick forgot to do this. And then we both get angry and annoyed and bitch about Patrick. So we're not nagging each other about small things, but we're bringing them up.
I love that.
How good is that?
I actually love that.
And we've compiled some more Unhinged tips to stay married we're going to share with you now.
Yes.
But you've been through the comments on that video.
And like a lot of people obviously have a sense of humor and they're like, that's funny, we do that.
Yeah.
Heaps and heaps of people have someone in their house living there that's being the problem that they're blaming things on. And then there were heaps of people who wrote on there was quite a number. I'm going to say like 10% of people were writing, it's just a way to get out of being accountable. You're dodging accountability. Like in your relationship, you need to grow up and take responsibility if you're not pulling your weight and all this sort of stuff.
How is it being single, Karen?
Yeah, I was going to say, it just made me think, I bet you those people aren't in long-term relationships because if you don't have humor, it's not going to work.
No.
It's just not going to work.
Well, see, that's the whole point of these, right? They're unhinged tips to stay married.
Yeah.
They're not saying that you're being the perfect partner or anything. Because it's all well and good, right, to be like, here's the perfect practice and the way you should do things.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, if you're both working and you've got children and you've got financial stresses and you've got to cook and you've got to clean and you've got to deal with your kids and their friends and their activities, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. That train's going to go off track, baby.
The train's never on the track.
No, I don't remember the last time it was on the track.
Trying to wedge that train back on the track.
Exactly.
So these are unhinged tips to stay married. If you've got any suggestions, please hit us up via our socials or go and email underagegrandparentspodcast@gmail.com. What do you got there?
Okay. I like this first one a lot. I tell my husband to stop being my husband for a minute and be my best friend. Then I tell my best friend what my husband has been doing to piss me off, and he plays along as my best friend talking shit about my husband.
So I got to bitch myself out.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And agree with everything that I say because that's what a best friend would do.
Does at any point, though, a best friend say, but he's not that bad? Or he's like, he's really cute?
No, I feel like every single best friend on planet Earth lets the rant happen, agrees with everything, and then at the end of it goes, do you know what though? He's actually a pretty good guy compared to your exes or compared to this person, or don't you reckon? Like he does do a lot around the house or whatever. Because they know if they leave the argument and they've like bitched you out, then it's not gonna end well. Do you know what I mean? It's like if people break up, you can't be like, I always hated him. He was such a loser, because they'll get back together.
Of course. Well, they're guaranteed to get back together when you say that.
Yeah.
I tell him made up stories about things that my friend's husband did and finish with, I'm so glad you don't do that. But they're all things that he does and I don't like.
Yeah.
Then he self-corrects.
Okay.
Is that a thing chicks do?
Possibly. If your partner has things about themselves that they just don't want to recognize about themselves, that's a good way to do it.
I reckon that would work on me.
I reckon it would too.
Because I'd be like, I don't usually do this. Why am I doing that?
Yeah.
All right.
When we were adjusting to our first baby and were sleep deprived, we made a deal that anything said between the hours of 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. didn't count.
Genius.
So good.
Absolute genius.
Because you're really not your best person at 2:30 a.m. when you're on your fourth, like, intervention with the baby or whatever, and you're like, you've slept 10 minutes and you have vomit on your shirt and
I reckon that's also got to work for things that you say to the baby at that time as well, because not that I'm proud of it, and I love my children more than anything, and I love a baby, but at 3:00 in the morning when you've had no sleep, you say some pretty rancid stuff to that baby, knowing that it can't understand you.
They can.
No, they can't.
Oh,
They
doll.
can't barely understand it. And I think
Most of them were whispered to each other about the baby.
Yeah,
When we
yeah.
got back into bed, we'd be like, oh, what the fuck did we do? Oops, I internet. Oh, I'm sorry.
So 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., none of that counts. When I have an uncomfortable situation to talk to him about, and I know he'll get angry and won't want to talk about it, you do the worst thing. You go, I'm going to tell you something and you're not going to like it. But what this lady
Excuse
does...
me. You say, do you know what you say to me?
What?
You say, I'm going to tell you something, but you're not allowed to be mad. Well, I'm sorry, but you can't tell me how I'm going to feel.
Mm.
Yeah.
This lady says he'll usually walk away from me, so I wait till he's sitting down to poop, and then he can't move, so I walk in and talk to him about the stuff he'll run away from.
That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, genius. You have to wear a mask, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's probably the last place on earth I want to be, though. So,
I want to check this one if you've done this before. I reckon you have. I buy gift cards occasionally, so every time he doesn't want to go out because he says we can't afford it, I say, oh, we have that gift card from Christmas. Works every time.
that's very genius. I like that. Because men are time.
Someone's got to be.
When I'm mean, he makes me get back into the bed, roll across it, and get out because I must have woken up on the wrong side.
I feel like if I asked you to do that, that would start a big fight, though.
No, you just get a death stare.
We started doing finger guns to each other when we brought our newborn home. So instead of arguing out loud, when he snores or does something annoying, I just roll over, hold a finger gun to his neck, and he says, please don't do it. Shut the... And our last unhinged tip to stay married?
You're going to think that I do this, but I don't. When we're planning to make a big purchase, I first show him the most expensive thing and let him marinate. Then show him the one I really want, which is cheaper, but not the cheapest. Works every time.
I know you don't do that.
Because I want the most expensive.
Correct.
Yeah.
Every single time. Your honey, it's just money.
It is just money.
Just money.
It is just money.
All right, hopefully you can use some of those tips. If
Yes.
you've got one, make sure you hit us up
Yes.
on our socials.
Thank you. Bye.